Real, raw, and uncut. I'm TyTeaV Nelson, and welcome back, y'all. It's TyTeaV. All right, y'all. So, oh my gosh. So first, I want to talk about my last episode, right? Oh my gosh. I sat back and watched my last episode, and I noticed that I am gulping. Every time I drank my tea, I'm like, can y'all hear that? Oh my God, I was disturbed by that. So I've got this weird thing with my big sister, okay? Number one, I wanna say that me and my big sister has the best relationship that really I've ever seen siblings have. So that's number one, and I'm so thankful for that. All throughout my childhood, my sister hates to hear people smack or gulp or any little weird noise like that. She cringes, right? So when I was a kid, I would always, if I'm drinking something, I would go by her, on purpose because I knew it drove her nuts. And I would sip my tea and come close and she freak out. She hates that. But since I was raised with my sister being that way, oh my gosh, it's just ruined me for the rest of my life, okay? Say I'm hanging out with a guy or anything like that, anytime I take a sip of anything, I'm trying not to gulp or whatever. So I don't know, y'all. I was kind of disturbed by that video, and I'm thinking from here on out, I'm just gonna pretend that I'm sipping on my tea. Or maybe not. Probably won't do that, but just know that I'm bothered every time I hear myself gulp, okay? Oh my God, that's been bothering me all week, right? And today I am drinking out of my girl boss cup because I'm bossy. I'm I told young Stunning he can I'm back with an 808 because I'm bossy. Y'all remember that song? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, I am a girl boss. I'm bossy. Shout out to my roommate. Shout out to one of my roommates. She got me this girl boss mug. She knows that I love these things. Y'all make sure to follow my girl on the gram. Nikki, I can't remember her Instagram name. But shout out to my roommate for getting me this girl boss mug because I love it. She knows that I love little things like this. So she's bought me a lot of them. Thank you. Appreciate you, Remy. I'm just kidding. So anyway, I do want to talk about something very serious with you all. I know that just as a black woman with a voice, as a black woman with an audience, I feel like it's my duty to make sure that I talk about this. I'm sure many of you are aware that, if I'm not mistaken, about 75,000 women and children, black women and children, are missing right now, okay? So I just want to make sure to educate y'all, to give y'all some tips and stuff. The sex trafficking and organ trafficking numbers are at an all-time high. It's black women. They are saying that some tips that they are giving us as black women are to, number one, y'all, when you go somewhere, you go to Walmart or anything like that, please make sure that you remember where you parked at, okay? And I am guilty. Oh my God, I am a blonde sometimes. I'm a blonde most times, okay? I'm guilty of it. I'm la 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 and not paying attention. I don't remember where I parked ever. You know what I mean? So y'all just make sure that, we are protecting ourselves, okay? Make sure that when you go to Walmart, when you go anywhere, don't matter if it's the sun out, the sun down. I mean, they're doing it and the sun is out, okay? So some things that they're saying is that, just make sure that you're paying attention to where you parked at. Make sure that you're paying attention to, what cars you are parking next to. Don't park next to no vans, okay? And just pay attention, pay attention to the cars that's next to you. You know, so when I go in Walmart, it may be a bug Volkswagen on one side and a Corolla on the other side. And when I come back out, notice what cars are next to me now. Is two vans next to me now. Is one van next to me now. They said that they're kind of tricking women, and they'll kind of put something on your window. There's like this black thing that they're like putting on your window, or just putting anything on the window shields, you know, and the woman is like, you know, what is that, you know, and she tries to get out and look to see what it is, and they are coming up behind you and like injecting you with something, and it like paralyzes you, and they're like kidnapping you, you know, and women are getting raped. Women are not ever being found again. They're even telling us to, like, on your driver's license, like, don't put that you're an organ donor, because now these people are like kidnapping us and then looking on our driver's license, and if it says like you're an organ donor, they're like, you know, taking your organs. Okay, so just be safe, y'all. Take care of yourselves. You know, if you see something on your window shield, wait until you get around people that you are safe with. Make sure you be in an environment where you are safe before you go trying to figure out what's on your window shield. That can wait. Black women are not safe right now. Okay, and you know, they're saying that, and I guess y'all can see that it's not being talked about as much as it, you know, should be talked about in the media or whatever. So just as a black woman, I just want to make sure that I'm speaking out to my ladies, and I'm letting y'all know, protect yourselves or whatever. Make sure you are telling these tips to your mothers, to your daughters, to your sisters, to your cousins, okay? Girl power, we got to stick together, and we got to protect ourselves, okay? So y'all, please, please, please make sure you're doing that, okay? And people can think like it can never happen to me. I'm 30. There's a lot of things that I thought could never happen to me, and they did, okay? So you just never know, okay? So y'all be aware. This is something that is important. It is happening. 75,000 women and children, okay? Black women and children. I care about my people. I'm proud of my race. I care about my people. And let's, you know, protect each other, look after each other. Girl power, okay? Okay. All right, so the title of today's show is Bullying Awareness, okay? And I guess for people who have been watching my show, you know, I have talked about how I was bullied from like 4th grade all the way to like 9th grade. That may have been like my last like fight or whatever, well, technically or whatever. My last fight or whatever, as far as like bullying, that kind of thing or whatever. And I just want to talk about it. You know, when I'm on social media, I keep seeing stuff. I just saw something. I was just on Facebook, and I'm like scrolling down, and they talked about how 5 kids were just arrested for I don't know if the little kid died, but beating this little autistic guy almost to death. And they were in high school, and they did it like in the bathroom or whatever. I just keep seeing stuff like this or whatever. And so I just want to make sure that I talk about it. You know, people may watch my show for like various reasons. Some people are being supportive. Some people are friends of mine, fans of mine, people who have just been like following my journey, you know, or people are watching for entertainment, like whatever. But my episodes are for people who are really experiencing, you know, these things that I'm talking about. You know, that's been the best reward, when I have people flooding my DM or texting my phone and saying like, how thank you for sharing your story. You know, it feels good to know I'm not the only one, you know, and, you know, thanking me for sharing my story, you know, and how my tips are helping them, you know. So this is what these episodes are for. Those people, you know, these things I'm talking about is happening every day, you know, and so I just want to make sure that I'm the voice, you know, and I talk about these things, I address these things, you know, and I give people tips on how to, you know, overcome and, you know, heal, you know, from these things, and just to let them know you ain't the only one, you know what I mean? So sometimes you can feel alone, like you're the only one. And I don't know, I felt some kind of way about this episode. I don't know if it means that I've healed from it or whatever, but I kind of didn't really want to talk about this, to be honest. But if this is what God wants me to talk about, if this can help somebody else, you know, I'm going to do it, okay? So let's start with maybe my first like fight, right? I can remember, and I want y'all to know, like, I've got thousands of stories, so I'm not gonna like talk about all of them. I had over 50 fights before I was like 15 years old, okay? It was just ridiculous, okay? I went to school in the hood. So let's just start from like elementary, okay? So I was in the fourth grade, and I remember these two sisters, right? We're at the playground at school, right? It's like playtime, I guess. And I remember me just minding my own business, just playing. And I remember these girls or somebody walking up to me and saying, she wants to fight you because of something, I don't know what or whatever. And I was the kind of person where I wasn't gonna let nobody bully me. I wasn't gonna back down. I was not afraid. I wasn't going. That's always been in my blood. I'm a fighter. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm like, what? Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we can do this, but it was for no reason. And so I can't remember really how I responded to it, but I'm just like, and I guess I didn't respond well because the girl says, we were just joking, but since you want to act like that, then, well, guess we can fight. But why would you even play like that? Why would you walk up to somebody who you do not know and just be like, I want to fight you, and then say, I'm just joking, right? And so anyway, I don't know if it was the same day, the next day, but I just remember the day we fought. And I remember these two sisters like walking behind me. And when I was young, growing up, I remember having like real long, pretty hair. And girls, like, these two sisters are walking behind me, and they're like pulling my hair, walking behind me. And then we ended up like fighting. I don't know if I just fought one of them, both of them. I can't even remember. And I remember my PE teacher like seeing me, and I think he gave me a ride. Like, I used to run track at this park that wasn't far from my school, Carroll City Park or whatever. And I remember him like dropping me off, but these girls were like standing behind me, pulling my hair, pushing me, trying to provoke me to fight. Okay, so I remember that was like my first fight or whatever. Really, I was just on Facebook just the other day, just maybe like a day or two ago, and this guy writes me, DMs me, and says on Facebook, long time no see, right? And I'm like, do I know you? Have we met? And he was like, yeah, we went to elementary together, right? So I go and look on his Facebook page, and as soon as I saw him, I knew exactly who he was. And the first thing I thought, was his full name, which I won't say or whatever. But this boy, I remember one day, just like playing, and all of a sudden he got serious, and this boy like beat me up, like dragged me all in the grass, like beat me up. And it started off with us just like playing, and he got serious and like beat me up, and then what does that teach a girl? I had a man in my household that was putting his hands on me. I had a boy at school putting his hands on me, like as if that's how it's okay for women, girls to be treated that way or whatever. And growing up also, I never really went to school with any of my other siblings, and that's something that I like hated. I was always in school by myself, so I feel like I was kind of a target, or never really having, if I had siblings with me, then people probably wouldn't bother me as much because they knew I wasn't alone. You know what I mean? So anyway, okay, so then when I was in middle school is when I had like the worst fights, 6th to 8th grade, okay? And it was just the time where it was just like the worst or whatever. I went to a school in the hood in Little Haiti, called Edison Middle, and then I went to Edison High. My school was predominantly, had Haitian kids predominantly, and when I was in middle school, this was a time where it was like Haitians against Americans. I can remember days where it'd be like Haitian Day, and you would see American kids taking the Haitian flag, and I remember this. and I'm in middle school, and I remember kids taking this Haitian flag, tying it on the gate, and like setting the Haitian flag on fire. Okay, I can remember it used to be like Americans against Haitians. I remember Haitian Day, American kids holding up American flags and like putting it on, like laying it on people's cars who were Haitian. And I remember this Haitian boy just getting beat up so bad, punched, getting beat up so bad just because he was a Haitian, okay? I can remember on early release days, they used to have these. I remember every time we had early release when I was in middle school, I remember the police, right, coming out to our school, and they would drive the trucks with the big back in the back, basically. So it's like, I don't know, the front of the truck and then this big old wagon thing, this box where basically they could put the kids in because they knew that it was going to be like a whole pile of fights on early release day, okay? So this was the environment that I was in, okay? Just so y'all can have an idea, okay? As far as bullying, I mean, I can remember, you know, girls bumping me, you know, and sometimes I would just let it fly, you know, but, you know, I'm a Taurus the bull. So you ain't gonna be able to keep bumping me, you know, and not get bit eventually. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like that. You know, some days I would just, you know, be a lady, you know, and I can remember, I remember these twins who I went to school with who were just like the worst. And I can remember one time we were just out in the courtyard, and I don't know what I did, you know, but I remember me holding my books in my hand and one of the twins just bashing my folders out of my hands and all of my paperwork from school just flying everywhere in the middle of the courtyard. Like, why? Why did you do that? I can remember some days me coming home in a police car because the police just see a whole pile of kids surrounding me and people trying to fight me. And for what? You know, when I had a favorite cousin, and she used to come out to my school some days, you know, trying to like defend me, look after me, you know, and I just remember her as a kid telling me, you know, you're beautiful, you know, and because you're pretty, that's basically what you have to deal with. So for me as a child, it was like, this is normal. Because I'm beautiful, because I'm pretty, this is the kind of stuff that I'm gonna have to deal with. So just, you know, accept it. This is how it is. This is how it goes for someone who looks like you or has long, pretty hair like you. This is what's gonna happen. And I was like smart on top of that, right? So, I mean, I can remember so many occasions. I told y'all the day I got games, you know, a whole pile of people. I can't remember. I promise you the day before, me and this girl, the ringleader, before we were cool the day before. I can remember us being cool the day before. And then the next day, you know, I'm finding out that she's gonna fight me and they're gonna gang me the next day, you know. And I can remember people stumping me to death on the ground. Like I thought they would never stop. I'm like talking like y'all are hurting me. You know, I was like in a 6th, 7th grade. You know, that kind of makes me emotional even when I think about it. You know what I mean? I remember a girl, me going to her house and her giving me clothes to change into because I had to catch the bus. I had to walk and catch the bus to get home. And I would have had to do that in dirty clothes, all dirty, marked up, marks all over me and everything, foot marks and people stumping on me. You know, I went home and, you know, I'll get into this in the end or whatever, but I went home in different clothes. You know what I mean? So as parents, you just got to make sure that we're asking questions. You know, did my mom notice that those aren't the clothes that I went to school in, that I came home in different clothes? You got to make sure you're just asking questions. You got to make sure you're asking questions as parents or whatever. I can remember this other girl, you know, something I would never forget, me and her like fighting in the locker room. And I don't know why this girl wanted to fight me or whatever. You know, and, you know, I won some, I lost some. Me fighting like that all the time most definitely trained me, most definitely, you know, showed me how to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, after a while, you get enough fights, you gonna know what to do, okay? After a while. But I remember this girl, like, dragging me by my hair, you know, this big girl, and for what? For no reason. Kids were cruel. I remember this other girl, me and her get into this fight, and again, I don't know why or whatever. I feel like I could have some ideas. I feel like it would always stem from maybe, you know, either how I looked, them being envious, jealous, or maybe because some boy they liked me. I could not even like the boy, okay? I could not even like this boy, okay? And they would be mad at me because the boy likes me, okay? And so I can remember me fighting this girl in the courtyard, and I think I had a weave like ponytail in my hair, okay? So after we fought, I was in CSI. They will put you like in CSI, you know, as punishment or whatever. For the rest of that day, I was in CSI. And I can remember a girl being cruel to me and like walked up to me and gave me my weave piece. Like gave it to me like as if she was trying to be nice. She wasn't being nice. Kids are cruel. So I want to educate, you know, parents on bullying. And, you know, something that my mom asked me was like, you know, I feel like my mom did have some idea of what was going on, but maybe not to the extreme of really what was going on. But again, I did not feel like I was even in a safe environment at home. Me and my mom never had the kind of relationship where I just felt like I could talk to her about anything. We never had that kind of relationship. You know what I mean? So you just got to make sure that you're paying attention, parents. You got to make sure that you're asking questions. I remember my mom asking me as an adult, you know, really as an adult is really when I really like started speaking out and talking about it, to be honest. After I remember watching this movie on Netflix called, what was it? 13 Reasons Why. And I could 100% like relate. And after that movie, really, that was the only time where I really even talked about what was going on with me out in the open. You know what I mean? And I can remember her asking me like, why you never like told me? Well, you know what? When I do research, it talks about how normally when kids are getting bullied, they don't say anything. They don't talk about it. It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. You don't want to be looked at as like a snitch. You know, it's humiliating to even talk about. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even want to talk about the embarrassment. You know, then you go back to school and the whole school is talking about it. I can remember after I got gains, being in math class, and maybe I was like talking to my friend too much or something like that, you know, and my teacher got mad because I was just like talking, and he used to have a hard time, you know, kids were just like horrible at that school I went to. And I remember him like saying a slick comment in front of the whole class about me getting gained. The teacher was even bullying me. The teacher. And I was embarrassed. Like, it's humiliating. It's embarrassing. It affects you, your self-esteem, your self-worth, to be a kid and people treat you like that and for no reason, whether it's a reason or not. That like people can never understand. You know what I mean? Like how that affected me. So I want to just like kind of talk about the future. Fast forward, okay? So one day, this may have been like 4 years ago, okay? Y'all know I used to serve and bartend at Hooters, right? So one day I was having issues with my knee at work, right? So I ended up like going to go see a chiropractor. After the chiropractor like talks to me, after they look at like my x-ray and stuff, but I had already told them like I had been having issues with my neck and my back. And that's kind of how it goes once you start having issues with your neck and then your back, it trickles down to your knees, right? So the doctor talks to me and stuff, and then he sits me down and says, did you experience anything traumatic? Think back when you were younger. He was like, think back when you were younger. Because I told him that was when the pain like really started. And he was like, anything traumatic happened? Anything drastic happened? Maybe a car wreck or anything like that? And I like sit down and really think about it. And all I could think of was I was always in physical fights. And the most traumatic thing that happened was me getting gained. And they stumped me in my neck, in my back, my legs, stumped me all over my body, you know. And when I think about it, when I went home, I never went to the doctor or anything like that. And I guess it was kind of sensitive too because I was in therapy at the time too. As a result of being bullied as a kid, later on in my adult life, I found that I experienced PTSD, which is a mental health issue. I experienced issues with my anger. I experienced health issues. I experienced emotional damage issues, self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues, etc. It was a lot to take in all at one time. So one time I go to Kentucky, okay? I go to Kentucky with one of my best friends, and it was like a spontaneous trip. Like I wasn't even supposed to be in Kentucky. And it's just funny how life works or whatever, right? So I ended up going to my best friend's brother's house, and his stepdaughter was there. So I'm like really intrigued with like little girls, obsessed with them. Like I'm looking forward to when I have a little girl so I can dress her up and she can be my little mini me. You know, I love to talk to a little girl or whatever, you know. And so me and this little girl is talking. Little girls are very drawn to me. They look up to me. They looking at me like, I want to be you in the future. And I'm like, I just love you. And I love that you want to be me in the future, you know? So anyway, me and this little girl, we bond at hello, okay? And somehow we start talking about her getting bullied at school, right? And anyway, I tell her like my whole story and stuff. And in the end, this little girl hugs me. She hugs me and cries on my shoulder, and hugs me, holds me, and refuses to let go, okay? She held me so tight, refuses to let go, okay? And I don't even know how to, you know, I'm not really great at being vulnerable, you know, so I don't even know how to respond, you know, I just let her hug me. My shirt was like soaking wet, okay, from this little girl. She's like 12 years old, and she was pretty, beautiful, a mixed girl with curly hair. Of course, you know, people are jealous of her. Of course, look at you, look how you look, you know what I mean? And which is sad to say, but it's true, right? So anyway, it was like another one of those moments where I feel like my life came in full circle. It helped me to understand one of my purposes in life. I was gonna meet this 12-year-old girl in the future, and I was gonna be able to talk to her and help her through what she was going through as far as being bullied, right? And I was able to tell her some things or whatever, and it's what I want to tell people, other people who have been bullied as well, okay? Make sure that you tell someone. And I felt like back then it was just not a lot of discipline for behavior like this, you know. It was okay, you know, you just may get suspended for a few days, you know, that's how they handled it. But these bullies were unstoppable, okay? That wasn't enough. Nobody should be able to stump your child to death and not have some severe consequences for it, okay? So nowadays, it's like cops are getting involved. They're taking it to a whole nother level. This affects a child for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? And so what I told this little girl, and what I just want to tell to anybody else that has been bullied, or you could be going through it right now. Make sure that you tell somebody, make sure that you tell your parent, make sure that you are not embarrassed or ashamed about it. There is nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. Shame on those kids. Shame on those parents of those kids, okay? Do not endure it. I just, as a kid, took it. I endured it. I stepped up to it. I was just ready for war. And number one, that's not ladylike. Number one, no little beautiful girl should be fighting. And yeah, like, don't deal with that. You know what I mean? And what I was told the little girl that I met in Kentucky, and what I want to tell y'all is, because I endured it, I'm suffering. I've suffered in my adult life because I just took it. Imagine, I told y'all I experienced like PTSD from being bullied as a child. Imagine that. Imagine being at school all day and the whole school is talking about how you're gonna get games after school. Imagine, you know, a kid knowing that the whole school is about to gang me for no reason, just because they're jealous of me or whatever the reason is, and you just waiting for that school bell to ring and know that you're gonna get gained. Think about the buildup. Think about the anxiety. You know what I mean? That was going on in my body. You know what I mean? And because I just endured it, I'm suffering. I have suffered from the consequences of enduring that as a child or whatever. So I was able to tell that girl, as don't just take that. Make sure you let somebody know. Don't just take that, because it will affect you for the rest of your life. So that's what I would say to anybody who is getting bullied that's what I would say to anybody who is getting bullied. You know what I mean? Do not sit around and take that, because everything has an effect. And that has affected me for the rest of my life, okay? So things I just want to say to parents is just make sure you're paying attention to your kids. Make sure you're talking to your kids. Make sure you create an environment where your child feels like that there's nothing that they can't say to you, that they can talk to you. Ask your kids questions. Pay attention to your kids, Did your child go to school wearing something else and then came back home wearing something completely different? Maybe they got bullied and beat up and dirty and somebody gave them a change of clothes. You know what I mean? That's not everybody's story, but it was mine. That was really, really happening in my life. You know what I mean? I would say make sure that we're just being proactive. Make sure that we're talking to our children at home about things that could possibly happen, things that they could possibly come across, during their journey once they start school and all that kind of stuff. My nephew, I talked to him about bullying. I explained what bullying is, how to identify it so you can know if you're being bullied. I was a child and not even, knowing that I was being bullied. Anybody who has been bullied, I would tell you to forgive. You gotta forgive. Something I guess that helped me with forgiving them was, it made me think like, for you to come to school and treat me this way, what was going on in your household? What was your personal life like that you felt like you had to come to school and be mean to me? What was going on? You know what I mean? What were you around? You know what I mean? And we're all human. We all got a story, That bully has a story. You know what I mean? And, and the person being bullied, has a story. You know what I mean? It's a part of life and a part of just like growing and living and learning. You know what I mean? So, you got to forgive. You got to forgive mostly for you. Because if you hold on to that, it will damage you. It'll do more hurt to you than these people have gone on with their lives, okay? They have gone on with their lives, not thinking twice about you, okay? So you've got to forgive, and maybe just like how I'm doing, I'm speaking out about it and helping other people, you know what I mean? Turn that negative into a positive, okay? And I would also say to anybody being bullied, make sure that you get therapy, get counseling. Do it sooner than later, because the longer that you wait, the harder it is to like overcome the side effects. The harder it is, when you wait until you're an adult. I did some research on that, you know what I mean? People who deal with it when they were young or whatever, it's like a different process. It's a harder process when you like wait until you're like older. Okay, so that's all I would say is, don't tolerate that. Know that it is wrong. Know that it's not normal. This is not okay behavior. You should not go to school and not feel safe. No child should be sneaking beer bottles to school in case you gotta bust somebody in the head with it. Seriously, I can remember I told y'all that in another episode where I'm like, finding beer bottles on my way to school and putting them in my book bag because I just got gang the day before. Cause I gotta pull that thing out and protect myself, Students shouldn't be having to bring weapons to school because they feel, unsafe. You know what I mean? So that is just my advice to anyone that is dealing with being bullied. Do not take that crap. Stand up for yourself. Make sure that you let somebody know. Or even if people who see it, there are people who saw what was going on. I had a few, maybe one or two people who would stand up for me. But a lot of people are like followers. You're not teaching your kids to be leaders, or when you see something wrong, I talk to my nephew. I tell him that you speak up for other people. When you see somebody treating somebody wrong, you speak up and you say something. Don't be the follower. Be a leader and care about how you treat people. You know what I mean? So that's really all I think I have to say for today's show. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and most importantly, make sure you share. Even if this episode isn't for you, maybe this message isn't for you, just know that it's for someone, okay? Someone needs this message. And y'all make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TyTeaV. Again, I'm TyTeav Nelson, and this is TyTeaV. I'll see y'all next week.